welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another review of the Real Housewives of Miami, Season 6, Episode 13, and this is called Miami and Mexico, so straightforward. And last where we left off, we know the women are going to Mexico City for a trip. So what this is just a montage of the ladies getting ready. So we have Alexia and Frankie writing a letter to St. Guadalupe to present to her when they go to the cathedral, because they're going to have a prayer for. Alexia is going to make it a point to pray to Guadalupe, for continued good health and all these other things, and for all the things that she mentioned last episode. So that includes things that Gertie's going through, what Lisa's going through, all the ladies are going through. Gertie's also packing up and talking to Russell. Russell's happy to get a nice break because, Russell has been the rock for Gertie and has been basically her caretaker while she's had these two tumultuous surgeries. So he's going to finally get some well-needed rest and he's looking forward to it. Marisol's packing, and then Dr. Nicole and Anthony are doing some wall shopping for because they're renovating the house that they purchased to move into. And they're, basically just picking out walls. And while they're doing that, they're talking about, she's excited about the trip. And we then find out she can't go with the rest of the ladies to the trip because she actually has to work. So while, when everyone else is going. So she's going to meet up with them after she gets off work. And nice little subtle flex. He's like, well, our private plane's out of commission, so you're going to have to fly commercial. Because, Dr. Nicole and Anthony, if anything, they have the coins. Next, we have all the ladies arriving at the airport and getting on the plane. And then they do arrive, and then they're on kind of like a Sprinter van heading to their destination. And in the confessional, Gertie's viding with the late. Well, not really in the confessional, really the late. I believe it was Marisol that asked, which Marisol's been so good about checking on Gertie throughout the show, especially past couple episodes. And so Marisol's like, how did things go, with the cancer and everything? And so she shares with the ladies, yeah, the second surgery is successful, so they're celebrating to that. But because her numbers are still high from the other tests she had to make, she still does have to do chemo. She did explain that to the ladies. And but the ladies are all ready to party, including Gertie. And so they meet up in Alexia's room with, and then they're doing spicy margaritas and food. The resort looks beautiful that they're staying at. And Gertie jokes in her confessional, but she is serious. She's like, I am here to have a good time. I am about to get lady lit. The libations are going to livate here. Because she did get the okay from her doctor that she could, partake and drink because her chemo doesn't start for a month or so away, so she has time. And really, I think the doctor was saying, girl, get out of your system. Because, once she does, chemo, she's not going to be able to really do any of that. So, yeah. So Gertie's there to have a good time, and they're ready to party. So once they're all seated, have their drinks, sitting outside, Alexia states the itinerary for the trip. Adriana does also state, because part of the surprise is Adriana is going to be performing at Mexico City's Pride, which we find out is the largest Pride celebration in Latin America. So that's a big deal. And Emilio Esteban got it done, and probably the show too. Probably a combination 1-2. Anyway, and then they also share that Larsa has a tequila tasting ready for them too. And Larsa out of nowhere just decides she's going to cause conflict, and it really did kind of come out of nowhere. She states that last year when Adriana kind of made a shady comment towards Larsa about every time Larsa gets invited to do things, she makes it into a business thing, like a business transaction, and kind of alluding that everything has to has to always do with the product. And Larsa says she felt a way about it and her feelings were hurt. And her Larsa, her voice that she does, and I don't know if that's really her voice. I feel like it's not, because I don't think that was her voice season 1. That voice is annoying. It's one of the main reasons why Larsa is not really likable. Like, that baby voice that she does, I don't know what that is, but I really wish she would stop it. It's not cute. It isn't. But anyway, so they start arguing, and these are just like the two of the stubbornest women on this show arguing, and also the two women who do not apologize ever, and accountability is never there. So it's kind of going nowhere with this argument. It's silly. And at first, not Adriana, I said Adriana, Alexia. This is all Alexia, by the way. Sorry, Alexia. And Alexia is just confused at first because she thought she was kidding. And she kind of is like, oh, I'm sorry if you felt that way. But, someone has to tell you the truth. Because, Alexia never thinks she does anything wrong. But they're arguing back and forth. And then Larsa's like, that hurt my feelings. I don't have a Todd. You have a Todd, and I don't have a Todd. And then that is where Alexia got activated, because it's like, you don't know what Todd does for me. You're not in my relationship. Like, what is that about? And when it comes to this whole argument, Larsa was wrong. There was really nothing that made Larsa correct in any of this. It was misguided. It was weird. Insinuating that Todd does something for Alexia is kind of weird, because you're not part of the relationship like that. And Alexia doesn't really state what all Todd does for her like that, for real. And because she's like, basically Larsa's like, I don't have anyone, which Larsa. So are you just telling us all that your relationship with Marcus is fake? Because just, if you want to say that, just go ahead and say that. Because based off this argument alone, you're telling me that's what that is. I'm just saying. Because all the other women, and then it actually offended other people. And we find out later on in the episode, it offended all the other women. Because and even Alexia had a point. She's like, I don't know why she's so mad at me, and I don't know why she just kind of basically made half these other women catch a stray. Dr. Nicole has a job, supports herself. She doesn't need Anthony. She has Anthony, though, but she doesn't really need him. Marisol has had a career throughout her whole entire time in 10 years within Real Housewives of Miami, because she was she worked at like a marketing agency. Gertie has a career. Like, half the women on this show has a career. Like, really, Lisa and I guess even Alexia. And I mean, really, it's only Lisa and Alexia that don't really have a career outside of this show like that. Like, all the other women have other businesses and stuff like that. And even Lisa's trying to start that too. So it's like, girl, what are we talking about? But anyway, so while this argument's happening, Kiki in the confessional, she is sending me. She's pretending to cry. And she's like, Laura's like, I don't have anyone. She's like, and we know what Kiki just shared last episode about how she basically been struggling here in the States since she was 15 years old. Without family and everything. So she's just like, girl, what? You don't have anything? And the whole entire time while she's doing this tear thing, she's literally doing this with her dildo. I'm like, Kiki, something's wrong with you. And then she was like, the only thing I have is this. And I had to pay for that. Kiki. But Kiki did make it known that she was feeling away and kind of getting triggered, because she's like, where was my support the other day? Alluding to the after party that Larsa totally skipped out on, and with no real rhyme or reason. So, yeah. I think the whole point was Larsa was looking for a moment and it was not giving what she thought it was going to give. And really, Larsa doesn't really have a purpose being on this show. Her storyline isn't really a real storyline. And she really has nothing going on. It's like she's just stuck and just kind of just there. I mean, she basically had to pick this fight in order for us to even know she was there. Anyway. Also, while all this is happening, the ladies in their confessionals are picking who would win this fight if they were to actually go into a fight between Larsa and Alexia. I personally would pick Alexia. I think I don't think Larsa really wants that smoke for real. Because Alexia goes bro. Like, very bro. And I don't think Larsa wants that smoke. Like, actually, really. But anyway, so while this is happening also, Marisol is like actually getting sick and was kind of getting sick all the way even before this because they were all outside, just from going on playing and stuff. And it was probably way hotter there than it even is in Miami. And to me, it looked like Marisol was basically kind of like having some heat exhaustion issues or whatever. So she was over and she ends up leaving while all this is happening. And Julia and Adriana are the ones that are taking care of her while her two favorite people, and this is her words, are literally arguing and not even noticing like she's like about to pass out. It was a hot mess, but that's how Miami goes. Also, Larsa, the fact that you're whining about your lack of support where you're not supporting Gertie, and yes, that's going to come up later on. You're not supporting someone who's fighting for their lives, but you are asking for support for your businesses. And you wonder why you've been called fake this whole entire time with your fake boyfriend and fake storyline. I said it, and yeah, that's the other issue that, girl, bye. So next, it shows a little Real Housewives montage of all the ladies getting settled into their rooms. And Kiki, Adriana and Julia go to Adriana's dance rehearsal because we find out that this performance is happening within 24 hours. So she doesn't have much time to get this all together. She has dancers this time, so she's hoping for things to be better. But also the reason why Julia and Kiki are going with Adriana is because it is a decoy. Because the rest of the ladies, minus Marisol, are actually going to get cakes for them and getting, their stuff ready for their birthday. Because both Kiki and Julia's birthdays are around this time. So they're going to celebrate both of them, basically. And so while this is going on, and the rest of the ladies are meeting in the lobby to go ahead and do this, Larsa and Alexia, they just decided to bury the hatchet because I already said it before, that argument was not going to go anywhere because no one was going to apologize. No one was going to be accountable. And in this case, since Larsa literally started a fight that made no sense, they weren't going to get anywhere. So they basically just dropped it. And so while they're on their way to getting the cakes, there is a conversation that comes up. Well, actually, they arrive at the place to get cakes. So you go to a cafe and kind of try to get some like Mexican-style cakes for the ladies. And so Gertie and Alexia are inside doing this while Lisa and Larsa, basically the two most shallowest people on this cast, are taking selfies. Because, the trip is about them, right? Has nothing to do with the fact that they're there to pick birthday cakes for the ladies. But anyway, so while this is happening, the conversation about passcodes come up because Larsa is the one who brings it up. She makes it known that she has Marcus's passcode to the phone, and they share that right away. And they haven't even been really dating exclusively long. So Lisa thinks it's weird because it is weird and doesn't make sense. Because they're not really together. Because this is a business transaction. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me any differently. They are not together. It's a business transaction because they have a podcast deal together. And wouldn't it be freaking hilarious if Scottie Pippen's ex-wife ends up dating Michael Jordan's son. And the fact that they used to be teammates on the same team and they don't like each other anymore because they had a huge falling out. Wouldn't that be funny? I see a scheme a mile away. This child. Anyway, so then the conversation of Lisa's settlement comes up, and this is once everyone's out of the cafe and they're walking around this park. It's a beautiful looking park. And I'm sorry, I kind of drowned out a little bit. Long story less long, because I'm so sick of this Lenny thing. They're still fighting. Lisa's like, he's being flaky. Buzz like, girl, just get in writing and deal with it. Yeah. That's pretty much what happened there. So next, the ladies it's the evening and the ladies are getting ready to go out. Kiki and Gertie are, man, this is the Haitian duel that I didn't know I needed, but I love it. I love that my Haitian sisters are doing what needs to be done. Bonding, kikiing, something that would have been nice to see at Potomac with my two Nigerian castmates. I would have loved to see that, but no, we can't have that. But anyway, sorry, I digress. They're recapping the days together. So, Kiki was with the dance rehearsal and basically saying she is worried for Adriana because there's not a lot of time, and yeah. And then Gertie explains the day and what they did and all that, minus the cake part, because, clearly that's a surprise. But then Kiki does explain that she actually had a conversation with Julia on the bus, and Julia explains that she heard a podcast that Larsa was on recently calling Gertie's tears fake. Yeah. Which immediately activates Gertie because she's like, so you mean you're going to Kiki and laugh in my face, but you're talking behind my back? Oh no, this conversation is going to happen now. So Gertie's activated. Kiki's like, I don't like being the bone carrier, but this is what it is. But yeah. So basically, while this is happening, Marisol has a little mini event before the dinner that they're going to. And she has this cute setup where it looks like it's like a classic car bar. I forgot what the name of the car is. I think it's Eldorado. So the back of the Eldorado, and it has like a bar set up. And she's serving them her cocky drinks. So she calls drinks cockies. And she actually has a brand of drinks that are her brand that she created. That is that, and that's what the ladies are drinking. Some type of mixture, like variations of those different drinks. And so while the drinks are getting made, the ladies are all one by one, just kind of sitting down, getting some cocktails before they go out. And we're thinking that Gertie's going to confront Larsa here. She's like, nope, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait it out. But at the same time, they are recapping Larsa's blow up earlier on. And Marisol kind of checks Larsa because she's like, look, I work. Like, I don't know why you would say it that way. That sounded like none of us. Because the way Larsa made that sound, like she made it sound like none of them will be anywhere without a man. And you know what? Speaking of, I know why y'all producers did something. Y'all are Easter egging something a while ago. So I think it was like, not this past episode, but the episode before, they show Marisol's mom reading Larsa about how she's worried about a man. Sounds like that's pretty accurate. You're always worried about a man. But anyway, so Marisol checks her, and Larsa's just like, okay, fine. But then also, too, Kiki kind of checks her, too. She's like, look, you weren't even there for me when I needed you. Alluding to, like, how Larsa left her after the swim week for the after party for no reason. Larsa comes up with another excuse and says she had fever, this, that, and this, and but I'm like, girl, if you had fever, you wouldn't be going to the swim week show. Yeah, so Kiki's not buying it, but she's willing to give it another chance. And I'm not buying it either, and I don't think you should give it another chance. But that's neither here nor there. It's just very rich and hip, and very much Larsa being a hypocrite about saying friends are not supporting her enough where she does not do that for any of them. Other than Lisa. That's about it. No one else but Lisa. Maybe because Lisa is the most like you. But what are we saying there? All right. So then this last scene, the rest of the ladies do eventually arrive and they finish their drinks and head to this art gallery. On the way to the destination, kinks are discussed. And I feel like that was producer's question because it makes sense based upon what type of gallery this is. And then Larsa starts talking about her relationship, and I'm sorry, no one cares. I don't. And then we go to, and the reason why Larsa's relationship was discussed, I will say this, is Julie did call out a podcast or not even podcast. This time it was Julia calling out that she saw a picture of Marcus grabbing some ladies behind in Orlando, and the paparazzi caught it or whatever. And Larsa's like, we weren't exclusively together then, so I don't care. Even though Larsa has been telling the ladies they've been together since the holidays. And mind you, this happened in November, around the holidays. Yeah. So both Julia and Marisol are seeing a hole in her story, and they're like, okay, because they're not really together. Okay, Marcus and Larsa are not together. It's a fake storyline. You can never tell me different. And yes, sorry, I probably should have warned you all at the beginning of this video. If you are Larsa fans, I'll see you next episode. This is dragging season for her, and this whole entire episode, I'm dragging her for Phil. Because the way she's been treating Gertie this whole entire season, especially a woman who has cancer, I ain't got no love for you. I'm going to drag you every time. Anyway. So Larsa decides, so they do get to this gallery, and these men have tidy whities on, but like they're nude colors, so it's kind of giving their nude with bunny ears. Like Eyes Wide Shut / Ariana Grande album cover bunny ear type thing. And all the women are kind of put off and kind of just like, what is this? Kiki loves it because she just, she's like, ooh, the men's. And the other women are just kind of confused because I'm like, what kind of kink is this? Hence the conversation about kink. It made sense. And Marisol's like, not Marisol, but like Adriana. Wow, Alexia, third time's a charm. It's late. Third time's a charm. But anyway, Alexia's like, why are these women acting like they don't like this? They like it. And I ain't gonna hold you. I would love to go to an art gallery that's like this, just experience it. And that's all the whole entire point was. So they're having this dinner in this awesome looking cool art gallery, but then the men's are kind of have this going on. And then it seems like it's like tapas style, how they're getting fed. And the women are just kind of being bumps in the log when it comes to it a little bit. And I think part of it was, because even Kiki alluded to it earlier on, it must have been hours between them eating because they were all hungry. I don't know what that was about, but maybe it's just the travel and all that. But anyway, so while all this is going on, and the owner of the gallery is explaining the art and the fact that he basically paints his dreams. So the art is related to dreams he's had. And it's really cool concept. The whole thing was really dope. But then they do eventually get dinner. And while this is happening, Larsa decides it would be a good idea to play Truth or Dare at the table. Kiki starts asking. So someone dares Kiki to. I think it was Lisa dared Kiki to ask one of the men to go into the closet with her, but she worded it wrong, and so the guy thought she was asking, "Are you in the closet or out of the closet?" And he's like, "I'm out." And so Kiki's like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, and they're like, "He's openly gay." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." And I was kind of cracking up the whole entire episode with Kiki. Because even with the choreographers that she was flirting with, clearly these men, well, not clearly, it's very, it was insinuated in multiple scenes that the men that she's been flirting with this whole entire episode do not like women. I'm not going to say that they are or not, but it's been insinuated. And it's been funny because she's like, her gaydar, clearly she don't have one. And it's kind of funny. Especially since they are there during Pride Week. You know, they're getting ready for a Pride show. Anyway. And then Kiki makes a funny remark in her confessional. And then the next question was about, I believe Alexia asked the women, has any of them ever questioned their sexuality? Lisa said that she has before, and child, based upon how you and Julia kissed, I believe it. But then the rest of the ladies were like, nah, not really. And then the next one was Gertie. It was Gertie's turn to truth or dare, and she decides to do truth to Larsa. And then this is where things popped off. So Gertie addresses exactly what she heard that Larsa did. And Larsa said, yeah, I did it. And Gertie's like, what is wrong with you? She's like, because she called me fake. And it's just like, let go of the fact that you've been called fake. Let it go. And she's literally, and Larsa's still going back and forth. And then, man, Gertie did say something that was the most correct thing ever. Your problem is, Larsa, and this is also probably everyone's problem with you, is you are so obsessed with being right. So whether you're actually right or wrong, you will argue it down until someone's exhausted. And in this time, Gertie had time that day, so so they're going back and forth, and then the artist starts playing music. Because by the way, this is still happening in the middle of the gallery. And so the artist starts playing the piano that is, painted beautifully. And then the men start doing this dance, kind of insinuating sexual activity. All the other women are like enjoying the show, getting distracted, but they're still arguing. But then eventually they finally do stop. And they just, recognize beauty. And, Alexia's like, look. With all this going on right now, this is not the place to do it. Can you please just enjoy your time and then do this another time? Which I agree. Because I love Gertie to death, but Gertie be picking the wrong times also. Like a lot of the women on the show be picking the most odd times to dress things, but there probably wasn't going to be a good time. So I'm also not mad at Gertie doing that because whatever. She's the one with cancer. So you do what you need to do. But anyway, that was how the episode ended. And Larsa. I have nothing nice to say about Larsa. And I'm bored with Larsa, honestly. And I don't see why she's still on the show. They could easily do this show without Larsa. I really feel like they could. Because, I don't know. It just... I better get a genuine apology from Larsa during the reunion. But I don't think it's going to be genuine. I think she only is saving her doing the apology so that she has something to talk about during the reunion. It's all for the show. And you're just ignoring the fact that Gertie literally was fighting for her life. But anyway, that does conclude the review. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. And I will see you next time. Bye. Miami's hot, 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 hot fire. Miami's hot, 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 hot fire.